Hey everybody, my name's David and this is the 86 hour rock I've been working on for the past few months. Alright, so let's get to it. This Saturday I've got an appointment to get this thing aligned. The rear end is kind of in it, but not really. I kind of got it shoved in there, but that's about it. So I got to do all that. We got to finish the back brakes. We've got to put a proportioning valve on it. I got an adjustable proportioning valve for it. We've got to fix that brake hose or brake line that I ran out, or that runs out back, that I broke. Bleed all the brakes. Get the cooling fans to work. I know I'm missing stuff. There's a lot of stuff. But anyways, here's what we're going to do. Is I'm going to thrash on it. You're going to sit there on the couch and watch me, and we're going to hope to make it. So if we make the deadline for Saturday's alignment, Sunday there is a Cars and Coffee, and I'm going to take my daughter for her first Cars and Coffee. She's been to a little gathering at the mall that I live near, you know, maybe 50 cars tops. This other Cars and Coffee thing is probably 700 plus cars. It's insane. It always is. So I really want to make that. Also, confession time. So this car started out to be a budget build. Yeah, we've kind of thrown that out the window at this point. The budget is way past blown. I was just hoping for a little mild driver, just kind of get it going, whatever. And I don't know, I can't leave well enough alone. Every time I see something broke, I just can't put stock parts back on. It really kills me. I'm sure some of y'all are like that too. But when I see something broke, I'm like, oh, you know what we could do? And then, you know, just keep spending the money, just gone. But anyways, I got to get to work if we're going to get this thing done. I believe we will get it done, I hope. But yeah, let's do this. Let's get to work.
Hey, don't forget, we're doing a giveaway. If you want these decals, just drop a comment down below, say sticker. Next Wednesday, I'll be doing the drawing. I'll give you a random number generator thing and whatever. It'll be easy. So far, there's one guy. He's going to get it. So anyways, if you do want a decal, these are a stencil. So you can just paint IROC on anything. Anyways, get back to the show.
So the rear brakes on this car are pretty rusted and whatever, so we're all into it. Might as well replace them. I'm going to paint the calipers and brackets too. So I'm going to tear that apart. I did check the rear end gear. It's a 342. We had a 323 before, so we stepped that up a little bit. I got a new brake line. I broke that one. Goes up to the master cylinder, but we got a new one ordered. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. We can put the brake hose on it then. I've already broke the rest of that stuff loose on that side. So I'm going to take these calipers off, take them to the office tomorrow while I'm there, and I can paint them and they can dry. So we'll get them off here. I'm going to go over and pull the other side off right quick, and we're just moving on. So depending on what kind of rear end you have, these will all be different. But on the 4th gen, this style, right there, 342, that's the gear ratio in this thing. On the older style diffs, you actually had to do math. That gave you how many teeth were on the ring gear and then how many teeth were on the pinion, and then you had to figure out what the ratio was. But I guess they figured out that it was easier to just stamp on there what it was. So anyways, just thought I'd show you all that. All right, let's see. So I'm getting ready to put the diff cover back on. Want to use a gasket. Some people don't. I do. I've only done maybe 2 others. I used a gasket and a little black RTV. Does not take much. Just a little to hold it in place. And bolt it together, and then I'll leave it usually, I would suggest at least a few hours, but it'll be tomorrow or the day after probably before I put gear oil in it, so it'll be fine. It has time to kind of set up and get situated in there and dry. So I'm going to get after that and do it, and I'll show you when it's done. I had searched and searched and searched for these 4 bolts. You'll never guess where I found them. Next, we'll put in this hose that goes from the rear end to the brake line that I broke. I was going to put stainless steel lines in it back here too, and I probably will eventually. However, they had to be ordered, and I couldn't find any fast enough, so I just went ahead and bought this just so we can get it on the road. And if you're curious what I purchased, I bought the third, because this is a fourth gen rear end, but I bought a 3rd gen line for a drum brake. I'm going to see if it'll fit. I couldn't find any real information on it, so I'm going to try this, see what it does. That's the part number. If it works, if it don't, you'll know not to buy it. Came from O'Reilly's. I'll try to see if I can get it in there, and then I'll show it to you if I can. There you go. Bolted right up. Of course, it goes over here, and the clip goes on and all that just fine because it's for this car. Here's that line I broke. I was going to cut it and just make a line, but then I got to thinking about it, and it kind of bothered me. I didn't want to have a coupler on my brakes. It'd be fine for a short-term thing, but I don't know. I just wasn't comfortable with it, so I ordered a new line all the way up to the proportioning valve. So let's see. Next thing I'll probably do is change this lower sway bar, or the rear sway bar. I don't know if where I'm at, you really can't see it, but it's smaller, a good deal smaller on this off this 4th gen rear end from the 3rd gen. So I'm gonna put my 3rd gen sway bar back on this thing. In case you're curious how much bigger the 3rd gen rear sway bar was, there you go. Also, the sway bar bushings and end links I ordered for the front fit the back, so at least we don't have to waste them. I'm gonna put them on. Also, make sure you grease the inside of these bushings. They will squeak. They're probably going to squeak anyways. Every one I've ever had eventually does. Probably every couple of years you're probably supposed to pull them out and re-grease them, I guess. They make some that have a grease zerk built in, so to reduce the amount of noise, but I didn't get those, so I'm going to put these in. All right, I got that in. Just got to put the sway bar end links on, but I'm going to wait to do that for just a few minutes. Actually, I'm calling it a night. It's late, so I'll do that tomorrow. Remember a couple of weeks ago I was in the same spot and on the floor, and I was putting in these U-joints, and I exploded it. Then I found that one needle bearing, which led me to think, you know what, I've got too much invested in this, and we're asking too much out of it. Just throw that back in there. So I went out. This is wrong. All right, so I got back with the new one. The other one was the right part number, the wrong part in the box. So we'll try this again. I'm gonna put you all on the tripod, and we'll see if we can't get that U-joint put in. By the way, these little tiny grease zerks like this take a special adapter that goes on your grease gun. I think they call it a needle adapter. Anyways, I'm gonna put this in, bolt it up, put that torque arm back on. After some struggling, I got the torque arm back on and the U-joint in, bolted up. I also greased it. So one of the things I was worried about with this car being lowered and a 4th gen rear end in it is the rear end being off-centered and the angle of the yoke not being quite right for the pinion, and causing problems with the rear end. So, with that being said, I spent some more money that I didn't have, but for the better of the car, I guess. So I ended up getting lower control arms and a panhard bar, single spherical rod end. They're adjustable, greasable on this end to keep those bushings quiet and turning. So this thing is beautiful. So I'm going to unwrap the rest of it right quick, and we're going to get this on the car. Panhard bar's the same way, spherical rod end, adjustable, greasable on the other end. Stuff's beautiful. Too bad basically you can't see any of this once it's all done, but it'll be in there. All right, so I'm gonna throw the stuff in right quick. So we installed the aluminum radiator with the cooling fans, but this car, somebody has cut the relay for the fans out of it. And I'm going to reinstall that, or reinstall a cooling fan relay. And so I ordered one. It's for dual cooling fans. Comes with pigtails, a relay, and a thermostat. All right, let me show you what I got here. So I finally got the last wire nut off of it. This is the fuse to the main fuse to the car, or whatever. It was originally cut right here. It was cut right there. So I went ahead and just took it apart and took my red wire for the fusible link thing for the fan, soldered all that together, and then the gray wire I run into the green and white, which runs to the PCM. We'll see how that does. If I have the other piece to put in the head later, but I thought this might just be quick, and if it'll work, it'll be fine for now. And then the brown and white wire that used to go to the old fuse, or to the old relay, I hooked it to the orange, and that's pretty much it. And then I started putting it in wire loom. I'm going to go ahead and loom all this up, clean it up right quick. I've already tested it. It does work. Not with the car running, I don't know about that, but as far as I just grounded the gray wire out, relay kicked on, fans kicked on. So we should be fine. I'm going to get this wire loom on, and we'll move forward from there to something new. So this is the air intake. This band clamp is the wrong way to put that on. They had two zip ties holding the mass airflow sensor onto this thing. Bubba Whitaker on one of the Facebook groups I'm in had an air intake, and it's from a V6, but it had the long air nozzle or whatever on it, and he was trying to sell it all together, and I offered just to buy this, and of course he said no, which I totally get. There's no big deal, but he hit me up a couple days later and asked me if I still wanted it, so I bought it. He's exactly what you want in a seller on Marketplace or whatever. He shipped it I paid him right then. He shipped it the next day. I had it in 2 days. Anyway, so if you see him pop up and you're like, is this guy legit? Yeah, he is. I just want to give him a big shout out because that's the kind of seller you look for. But anyways, I'm going to get all this put together, and then we'll stick it on the car and see if we can't get some of this wiring kind of tied up. I'm ready to hear this thing run again. In case you're curious, I just took a screwdriver and spread this apart. And then I took these wire cutters right here and just crimped it down, and it's holding really well. So I'm going to put this back on the car and get that done and start trying to get some of this wiring kind of buttoned back up and plugged in. Got the air intake on, throttle position sensor and IAC and temperature sensor, map sensor, all that stuff that I wired up and whatever. Got all that on. I still need a hose to go from here to the throttle body. For temporarily, we're just going to bypass the heater. Also put the upper and lower radiator hoses on. I got those tight. I'm gonna see if I can just get this car to turn over right quick, just to see if it'll start, so we know it will. So I did start the car up. Sorry about that. I got the fan running just to blow the exhaust fumes out of here. I just wanted to make sure it would start. Tried to start it, it wouldn't start. Battery completely dead. So I had it on charge. It charged up. It did pretty good. So it did start. I hadn't heard it start since I'd done all the electrical stuff. So you never know. Stupid stuff happens. So then I went to AutoZone and I was going to buy. I actually had purchased Lsd Additive for the rear end, but they didn't have any, and they were bringing it in from another store. Well, it didn't come in, so I ended up having to buy different gear oil because I need this thing on the ground tonight. It's already like 9 o'clock. We ain't even close, so lots and lots and lots of stuff to do. Anyways, I want to show you one more thing. So I was going to just bypass the heater core for now and run this up, but I ended up going ahead and purchasing some 3/4 heater hose, and then I bought this. It's got a 90-degree bend in it. I ain't got a clue what it's for, but it came from AutoZone, and let's see if we can find the part number. Here we go. There you go. There's a part number. Works excellent. You will have to cut it down. It's really long, but it's a great way to bypass to not have to run the. There's a heater bypass thing, and I don't have it, and I don't care anything about it, so I'm not going to use it. But anyways, I'm going to use this hose. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this tightened down and installed, and keep on moving. I got so much to do. Ordered the Summit Racing adjustable proportioning valve, and it's going to take quite a bit of work to get this thing in. I just don't have the time tonight, so I'm going to put the other proportioning valve back on. It'll be fine just to get it to the garage or whatever to get this thing aligned. Next thing I'm going to do though is put the that line that I broke that goes to the rear end. I'm going to change that out and put the new one in while I've got it all apart. And then I'll put the old proportioning valve back in and put the rear calipers on. And I think this thing's actually ready to bleed the brakes. We'll see. By the way, it's already 10 at night, and I am exhausted because I've been at this all day. If you've ever wondered how they ship a rear brake line to you, they just kind of bend it gently and shove it in the box. It'll be just fine, but you got to bend that back out. So I'm gonna see if I can get this under the car right quick.
Well, good morning. I went to bed about 11:30 last night. It's currently 5:30 in the morning. I did get the rear brake line in. Both ends are hooked up. I've got to tweak it just a little bit so it clears the steering arm. And if you're ever looking to do this, just know you're gonna have to bend that line. It just is what it is. But anyways, just thought I'd let y'all in on that. It look good in there though, so I'm gonna bend it and get it out of the way and be done with that and go on to putting the rear calipers on this car. So I cleaned out the reservoir. This thing has 0 fluid in it, so I'm going to take this opportunity to switch to DOT 4. It has a higher boiling point, so less brake fade overall. So I'm going to pour some of this in there and let it gravity feed a little bit. And when my wife gets up, I'm going to put her down here pumping these brakes so I can get them bled and get this thing on the ground. So this is what I ended up getting yesterday at the parts store to replace the other gear oil I had. I'd ordered a bottle of Lsd Additive, but this stuff, and it didn't come in time. That was the problem. Anyways, this stuff says it's excellent for use in limited slip differential, so we're going to give it a shot. So I went ahead and professionally mounted the temp gauge. And I'm not a Neanderthal, so I did cut the zip ties.
So my wheel spacers came in, and everything clears. So now I can touch up that caliper, and we'll button this up, and I think we'll be close to done on all this stuff. Well, it's 11:30, and I probably was going to be out of here at 11, which would have been fine. I talked to my brother, he was cool with it, but evidently the battery's extremely dead, and I don't think the alternator's charging on this thing. So, or if it is, it's charging at a really low rate. I'm gonna try to jump it off with the charger here, but I have a feeling that's where this is gonna end. So anyways, it's on the ground, and if nothing else, I'll get it outside here in a little bit and take some pictures of it, or take some video of it, and that's how we'll end this. But I was really hoping to get that alignment so we can start driving it. Anyways, here we are. Y'all didn't think I could leave you like that, did you? So my brother has agreed to come in tomorrow on Sunday and align this thing first thing in the morning. So that's what we're gonna do. So we will get to drive this thing. So I stopped and picked up a alternator, but it was almost 45 minutes from my house or so. So it took me an hour and a half, actually 2 hours. But I'm going to get that thing thrown on. But I want to show y'all what all this thrashing is. I have just got a huge mess in here. I've got to get this cleaned up so I can walk and not die in here. But anyways, let's get this all done and get cleaned up. Maybe we can get it to where it runs good for tomorrow. So I pulled it out of the box and went to put it in, and noticed it was a little different. No big deal, whatever. But it's physically bigger than the other one and will not fit in there at all. So it's back 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes back to get another one. I'm taking my old one with me to see if we can match it up. So the alternator that came off this car and the alternator I bought weren't the same. The only alternator that AutoZone showed for this car was the one they gave me. I took the old one up there. Turns out it had an AutoZone Duralast part number, and they looked it up. They actually had one in stock, so I just got it and bought it and brought this one home. And let's throw it on and see if we can get this thing buttoned up. I really want to drive this car. So I got the alternator on. I charged the battery a little bit earlier. I don't know if it's enough to turn it over or not, but let's see. It might be. The courtesy lights are on. I mean, it shows it's got 8 whole amps, charging amps, but that may not be right. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I made it back, but it is very unhappy. There was smoke coming from the steering column right here where I was running the windshield wipers, I assume. I really don't know. Let's see if it'll even start again. Looks like it's barely charging. I don't know. Temp seems okay though. Both tires rub or one of the tires rubs up front, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on this thing. There's no alignment tomorrow, that's for sure. Okay, so if you would have asked me, hey, where's the front end gonna rub? I guessed up here, but it looks like it's right there. So, yeah. but this fender also looks like it's damaged. It's bent. It's out of alignment, so I don't know. Let's look at the other side. Oh no, it rubs in the front too. Oh, great. So, well, wheels that stick out, tires that rub. I started to go with the 35 series, but the tire's so tiny. But plenty of people were running these wheels, but nobody was running. I mean, they might have been running a 4th gen Outback, but there's no way they were running 5th gen brakes and a spacer. I don't know. I got to think about this one. It's past dinner time. I'm going to go eat, and I'm calling it a day. I've been up since like 4:30, so I got 2 more days before this video comes out, so maybe in the next 2 days I can solve or at least contemplate an idea of what to do about all this. So it's the way it goes when you build custom cars. When I ordered these wheels, this car was going to be stock suspension, stock brakes, stock rear end, and then I changed all that. So I don't know. We'll see what's up. Well, you could see how far out those wheels and tires stick. To be honest, if I had enough time, I might just build a wide body kit for this car, but I ain't got any kind of time. So I ordered a new set of wheels today. They're a lot different from these, but I really did like these wheels, so I guess I'll sell these, take a little bit of loss on them, and move on. That's all I know to do. I am a fan of how it looks, though, as far as the wheel style. Oh well. My loss will be somebody else's gain this time. Yeah. Too bad they stick out too far and rub on every corner. And this side over here, for whatever reason, the front wheel has a larger gap between the body and the wheel than any other corner. I don't know what is up with that. I'm hoping it'll settle down on its own and I don't have to do anything about it. So it is squeaking on this side some. But that's, not uncommon with brand new suspension. So seeing it outside does make me love it even more. I just ready to drive this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go film an outro and fill y'all in on what's been happening the past couple of days and why my voice is gone. Anyways. Well, there you have it. Another week down. I got 5 more weeks before we leave. I'd really like to not be thrashing on this thing. Kind of sounds weird for me being in this car. All the windows down, up and stuff. But anyway, sorry about that. But I actually Friday night, I started sneezing. Just didn't feel right. Saturday, by the time I got that alternator in, I was feeling terrible. And I'd been up for a long time. I just kind of wrote it off, whatever. But I woke up Sunday morning and I felt awful. So even if I'd have got to the point I was ready to take this thing to my brother and these tires didn't scrub, I wouldn't have took him this. And there's no way I was going to go to a car show not feeling good. There's just no point in making other people sick for no apparent reason. So it's just a head cold, nothing crazy. Just, I thought it was my sinuses actually Saturday. I thought, something's got me aggravated, whatever. But I'm getting better now. It's Monday. And by tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be able to get back to where I can work a little more. Like I said, was saying, these wheels and tires do not fit this car. I ordered them when I thought this car was still going to be pretty stock. And that's just not what happened at all. We've
completely blown that out of the water as far as suspension and brakes and stuff. So I did order another set of wheels. They hopefully will be in by the end of this week. Don't really know. They were on back order-ish, but it was from Summit. So the Summit gave a delivery date by the end of the week. So we'll see, but hopefully they'll be here soon so we can get this car aligned and actually driving it. It is idling kind of rough. Partially, I think it's because the battery has been unhooked so many times. It's still kind of learning these old systems that you had to drive them some to get them to really learn what to do. Every time I do start it up, it sounds a little better. So hopefully once I get it, the tires ready to actually go, I can actually drive it around the block a time or two or whatever, and it'll straighten itself out. If not, we'll figure it out. These systems are pretty simple. There's actually not very many sensors that run a tune bore injected motor. This is not. So, anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. Yeah, press the like button and subscribe and all that junk. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna call them this week done. So, yeah, catch you next week.